All right, and we're back for another episode of the Department Podcast, and this time it's been long overdue, and we're finally getting to the MLB postseason. We're already in the divisional series, so that's what we're going to get into, but Justin with Steve and Joe. Guys, what's going on?
Hello.
Not much. Hanging out right now on this nice Wednesday morning right now, talking some baseball with you guys. I'm glad we're talking baseball, but not like some other sports that disappoint me even more. But this is nice. I'm glad to be back doing baseball.
Long overdue.
Yeah, it's with being additional wrestling shows the past 2 weeks between NXT and whatever pay-per-view we had, I don't even remember at this point. Clash of Champions, that kind of screwed up the schedule a little bit, so certain things got put to the back burner, basically baseball and basketball. Basketball, the NBA Finals the series is basically done, so we'll do a wrap-up whenever that series is over, maybe Friday or whenever that series is done.
Friday night could be the earliest. Yeah.
So we'll probably do that earlier next week then, if anything, or who knows. But we'll definitely have the normal football as usual, and we're ready to talk some baseball. And there's one game that I definitely want to start off with because it hits home to basically just Joe, where it really just pulls all of the heartstrings. The sky is falling. The series is now 1-1 between the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees after basically, I'll flat out say, a fireable decision by Aaron Boone if he acted alone or he worked with Brian Cashman, and that was starting Debbie Garcia to only have him go one inning as an opener and bring in J.A. Happ. And yeah, the Yankees made it a game later on, but it set the tone that the Yankees were going to be playing from behind, using their bullpen early, and really having to claw their way back in from basically the second inning. And with the DS being the way it is right now with 5 consecutive games with no off days, this kills the Yankees pen because you saw Adam Ottavino, Jonathan Loaizaga, I don't know if Holder came in or not, but arms that would be used in either mop-up roles or early relief come in towards the tail end of the game. Now that really only leaves, Chapman, Britton, and Green sorta for Tanaka to deal with. And then starting game 4, it'll go to game 4 now. You have Jordan Montgomery. So really this sets the Yankees back as a whole for this series.
Well, first of all, Justin, to your first point, the fact that it does not hit home to anybody else here is an absolute lie. I would like the podcast community to know that nobody, and I mean nobody, watches and cares about the Yankees more than Justin Valentovic. Justin Valentovic lives and dies with every pitch. He went out and got his Tampa Bay Rays foam finger just to root against the Yankees.
Wow.
He cares. He wants the Yankees to lose more than he wants his own Orioles to win, and that is an undeniable fact based on the way that he speaks, and it is utterly ridiculous. Number 2, Aaron Boone. Aaron the Dog Boone.
The dog.
I have no explanation for this move right here. After the first out was recorded, Austin Meadows got out, bottom of the first inning, went away. They cut to the bullpen. J. Happ was already warming up and throwing bullets. This was a premeditated decision, and this was not made during the time of the game. This was premeditated. Here is the problem. The Yankees thought going into this game that the Rays were going to put a lineup of 9 lefties out there. What happened?
Basically,
Yankees premeditated this decision based on what they thought the Rays were going to do. The Rays put 4 righties out of the 9 starting batters as right-handed hitters. So the decision to bring J. Happ in the first inning was moot because he had to face 4 righties. And instead of letting J. Happ just face the second time through the order, bring him into the second or third inning, later in the second inning or in the third inning, they brought him in after one. It makes little beyond no sense, because if anything, they should have brought in Jordan Montgomery so that Happ can pitch game 4, because again, J. Happ, the guy's older than all 3 of us combined, and he has no experience coming out of the bullpen. They're forcing him to do something that he has never done before and expecting him to thrive? This is ridiculous.
Here's also the thing, too. J.A. Happ isn't the wipeout lefty specialist that he ever was. He never was that. He was just a
No.
left-handed pitcher. He wasn't devastating to any left-handed batters. Granted, yeah, they went 2 for 7, but like it's not like he shut them down completely. And it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
It makes beyond little sense. And the fact that Aaron Boone can sit here in his post-game presser and say it was in the heat of the game.
Clark, were those your dogs?
No.
That's my dogs. That's my pups.
Buddy or Baxter?
Who knows? The fact that he could sit here and say that it was not a predetermined decision that they went over the course of the game. It's not true. He straight up lied to us, and Jay Happ's pissed, and I don't blame him. He wasn't put in a position to succeed, and now we have to rely on Tanaka to go 6 innings.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't even
knows?
think you should rely on that. You got to rely on your bats now in this game because that's all it's going to keep you in this game. That was a morale killer last night, and it's sad to see because I'm obviously not a fan of the Yankees, but they are a good team. They're a great ball club. They have all the talent that they need to make a run to get to the World Series, but that's a real morale killer right there last night, and it just kills them.
Last point on the opener method for the Yankees, they're trying to out-open the team who invented the opener.
Exactly. And you know why it works with the Rays? It's because the Rays, when they bullpen, they don't have your Jonathan Loizagas coming out of the pen. They do not have your Jay Haps coming out of the pen. They have Nick Anderson and Diego Castillo as the middle relief guys.
They have like 3 legitimate closers as like middle relief guys.
Yeah.
And that's what the Yankees thought they had in Adam Ottavino, who just can't get anybody out.
Adam Ottavino was a disaster when he came in the game. I almost threw up. I cannot handle him. I do not think that he should touch a mound. He's the most overpaid player in all of sports, more than Danny Green, more than Devin Funchess with Indianapolis. It is an embarrassment.
It was a one-year deal. He's gone.
He's in Green Bay now.
We paid him $12 million to snap his collarbone.
Yep. Yeah.
I am talking right now. You want to talk about a morale killer? CB Buckner behind the plate is the second issue I have for this game. This guy should not be allowed to stand behind a plate and call balls and strikes ever again. In the 9th inning, the Yankees' rally was killed because of a bad strike call, and then after that, it was they had to swing at everything.
There were 2 specific ones that stick out to me. There was one where it was a curveball thrown by J.A. Happ where it was well above the zone, and they called it that it dropped in their first strike. And there was another, I want to say, was it Gary Sanchez later in the game where it was basically in a left-handed batter's box, and they called it a strike looking, or was it Glaber? I don't remember, but it was basically in the other's like box. But that wasn't the whole game because at least it was both sides. But someone who's been shutting me up is Giancarlo Stanton. He's really been the only bright spot for this team production-wise because you had Clint Frazier again going down with bases loaded when he could have driven in some runs. But Stanton's, he's doing what he was paid to do is hit home runs, and the one still hasn't landed, I think.
Yeah, no, he's a playoff player. We're seeing that now. During the regular season, he's average at best. He hits a home run here or there. He
plays
too much.
Here and there too.
He's like Eli Manning in a way. Like he plays average during the regular season, but when it's playoff time, when the games start to matter, man, he goes off, and props to him. Like we all gave him a bunch of crap for not doing anything and being middle of the road and all that stuff. But hey, he's proven to be the MVP of this team right now.
And it's funny because it'll fall by the wayside if they lose the series, because then at what point it doesn't matter then at that point. Really not.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know what happened. I think it's got to be the fact that there's no fans in the stands, right?
Oh, it has to be. It has to be.
Got to be that. Like he's
focused. He can hit
because he's not being heckled by his own ballpark. I mean, it's nice to see. I feel very happy for him.
Get ready. You only got 7 more years of it.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. But at the same time, some of the at-bats in this lineup last night against the Rays were absolutely brutal. There was no plate discipline. Gary Sanchez looked really yikes up there.
There were a few times that multiple Yankees stared at fastballs down the middle.
It's tough. It's really tough. Everyone except for Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Hicks really need to get it together. Bad.
Yep. No, I agree.
Bad.
Now, looking ahead at the series, it's best of 3 now. It's as simple as that. And the Rays, they evened it up. They are legitimate threats now, honestly. And Randy Arozarena is going to be a Yankee killer, it seems like, because right-handed batter, he's shooting everything to right field. Everything he's hit in the postseason has been opposite field.
Randy Rosarena really is just very impressive. I mean, he's exciting, and he has the ability to drive the ball the opposite way for a small guy like him. And the speed that he possesses. It's a little threatening. But Justin, you should be just as worried as I am because you have to play them 19 times a year too.
We'll get there.
Justin doesn't care about the Orioles. We know that.
We'll get there when we get there. We're talking about the here and now, and right now he's your problem.
I'm not worried because they have to win 2 more games, and one of them is going to be Tanaka, and one of them is going to be Garrett Cole. And I'm confident with those guys on the mound. They've given me no reason not to be.
I don't think Garrett Cole's going to pitch Game 4.
5.
Okay.
If it gets there.
If we get there.
If we get there, yeah.
Oof, that's rough. It's gonna be tough.
I still
it's tough for either team.
Well, also the Rays are built for this, considering they have 2 outfielders from San Diego. So cool.
Yeah, you keep saying that. I don't think that has that.
No, it has nothing to it has nothing to do with anything. But it's just funny that they trade for literally 2/3 of the Padres outfield, and now they're playing their series in San Diego.
Wow, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to come to terms with that. That's just insane.
They were ahead of the curve as usual. But any thoughts or predictions on this series so far?
The Yankees are going to win 2 out of the next 3. That's all they have to do.
It depends on how they perform tonight, the Yankees, to me. If it's another bomb, like if it's another, like a not good performance, I don't know the right words to use. If it's a bomb or like it fails, it's over. A dud, there you go. It's over for them. They got to just stick to what they know and just do them. Otherwise, Tampa's going to the World Series, plain and simple.
Any last thought? That Joe, you're just nodding your head. You good?
No, Justin, I thought you didn't have any prediction. I said the Yankees were going to win the series.
I feel like it's definitely going to go It's going to go 5 games. It's as simple as that. And if that's the case, then you have to give the edge to the Yankees. If the Rays honestly win this game tonight, they have all the momentum then at that point. And if you have, that's just how
the Rays are going to win Game 4. The Rays are going to win Game 4.
Who they have pitching tonight? Is it Morton?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a favorable pitching matchup for the Yankees. Well,
let's not.
Tanaka Morton. No, I thought it was Montgomery for a second.
Morton's not. I mean, Morton's not what he was last year.
No, he's definitely starting to decline. But we just gotta wait and see.
Hey, that's my line right there. Gotta wait and see.
Yeah, and all the Yankee shills will be waiting with bated breath, right, Joe?
March it along.
March of the shills.
Absolutely. Sorry, we love our team.
So for those who don't know, basically what I do now to break balls of the Yankee fans, I take movie posters and I'm putting all of the Yankee fans' heads with John Boy on it and naming it blank with shills somehow in the title. So just as a little teaser for you two, it's Star Shills this time coming up tonight. So
wow,
Star Wars, Star Shills.
Can we get a little sneak peek in this video right now for our loyal listeners, or not yet?
If I feel like editing in, maybe. If not,
or show one of the older ones. Show one of the older ones then.
Why don't you do Beverly Shills 90210?
There you go.
That's definitely an option. Thank you, Joe.
Well, hopefully they make it that far so Justin can make that.
Well, let's talk about the other series in the AL, which could be a wrap today, and that's the Astros and the Athletics. Who just sighed?
Yeah, who wants to see the Astros win?
Well, they're proving to everybody right now that they're still a good ball club, no matter all the controversy that's surrounded them. So I give props to them.
Even with probably the worst pitching staff out of all the playoff
teams. Yeah, I give props to this team 100%. Do I like what they did? No, I don't like what they did. But they're proving that they're still legit. They still have talent. They're proving everybody wrong. Yeah, we cheated in the past, but look what we're doing now. We're getting back to the championship series, it looks like. Well, so good for them.
For the time being, the core is all still intact of Springer, Correa, Bregman, and Altuve.
Yeah.
So that lineup's going to produce runs. And also, just looking at the pitching for the Athletics, it's not there to compete with this team still. It hasn't been since the height of the Astros, and quite frankly, it never will be until this team kind of falls apart in a few years.
Yeah.
And we're just still seeing that.
Yeah.
No, I think with the Astros here, with what they have is Framber Valdez is all of a sudden, I don't know, like this guy was a no-name coming into the year, and he's become one of the most stable arms out of their pen. And what they've been able to do is just rely on these rookies to go 3-4 innings out of the pen the last 4 games. And it's worked. It's paid dividends. the problem with the A's is that I never really thought that they were this great, like, juggernaut of a team. Everyone was like crowning them as like kings. Um, the A's really are not that strong of a team pitching wise. Absolutely not.
The A's are a power hitting team. They're basically all or nothing with good defense. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
not how
I
you
mean
beat the Astros.
that doesn't win you,
World
pennants
Series.
right there.
Well, because look,
I mean,
that's what the Yankees have. They built their team, which is just power and a bullpen, and we've seen that hasn't really got them over the hump either. While the Astros, they get on base and they score runs and manufacture runs that way.
I mean, so the A's are going to throw out Jesus Luzardo tonight, against Jose Urquidy, and honestly, I'm going to pick the Astros to sweep.
Yeah.
Me
Tonight.
too.
It's still
Luzardo,
like
a
pitching
lefty
wise.
going against that lineup is going to be an absolute disaster. The ball is flying out of Dodger Stadium.
Well, he's also still a young pitcher and having to face this Astros team who's been in the playoffs for like 5 years in a row together alone, and that have had success at Dodger Stadium. It's not a fun matchup to go into for one of your first postseason starts as a rookie, basically.
And a guy like Jose Urquidy was pitching meaningful innings in the World Series last year. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's sad because like the A's won the division, and it was cool, it was cute, it was fun, but they don't have this like stable of guys out of the bullpen.
It's really just Liam Hendricks, and that's it.
That's really it. Yeah. No, this
Pitching
team's not going for.
Pitching has been their biggest problem since the A's have been a relevant team for the past like 3 years. Since they started becoming contenders again, pitching has always been their problem.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And as far as the Astros go, every single guy, all their big guys, Springer, Correa, Bregman, they're all hitting. They're all hitting. And I mean, it might be like right place, right time, but when they run into the Yankees or the Rays, it's not going to continue.
No.
Well, because you look at
yeah.
because for either team they face, instantly a better pitching advantage to either of the two teams that they have to face. Either the Yankees or the Rays, pick one, better pitching than anything that they have seen in the playoffs so far for the Astros.
Absolutely. I think this is a big thing of more the Astros opponents have choked and the Astros have bludgeoned their opponents.
Yes and no. I think their talent goes unrecognized too much, the Astros now. I really do. They still have a bunch of all-stars on that team that still obviously produce for that team. But yes and no to your point, because the teams do choke, but the Astros are still being very dominant in this playoff run right now. So I don't know. I don't give them the edge against the Yankees or the Rays. I really don't. I feel like both of those teams could dominate the Astros, but good for them.
Like all their hitting, has been discredited for the most part, because of the cheating scandal. And we saw that in the regular season where they're all batting, sub 200 at points.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still good players. They've been here before. They've handled high pressure situations. They're still going to perform in the playoffs, cheating or not, it seems like. And this is the case where right now they're sticking it to everyone who thought that they are literally a nothing team without cheating. And clearly they're not.
Well, the big problem also is that Greinke's obviously not healthy. There's something going on with him. Dusty Baker came out and said that he's just not been himself. So, like, if this is going to be, the case, if they're not going to have Greinke,
it's an uphill battle from
what do you even expect?
Either matchup. Maybe they get a game in the championship series, but they don't have the pitching to win 4.
Like, the A's have got to get out George Springer. They're not going to, but that's what they have to do. But they can't, and you can't in the playoffs. It's a fact.
No.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the series is done today. It's as simple. It's gonna be a sweep,
I think so too.
And if it's not, they're winning game 4. There's no way this goes 5 games, barring a miracle to some degree, and the Astros just stop hitting. But even then, they could win with 3-4 runs, and that's it.
I don't know. The Rays took them to 5 last year. For somehow, but no, it's not going to happen.
No.
This A's team is not last year's Rays.
Not at all. So that's it for the AL matchups. What do you want to talk about first? Braves, Marlins, or Dodgers, Padres?
Let's go with the other series that's probably already over, and in Houston with the Marlins and the Braves.
Yeah.
Because
The Marlins were just happy to be here. The Cubs, they beat a Cubs team that's not what they were in 2016 to like 18. Like that is a shell of that championship team. And the
Mhm.
Marlins were a fun little team that had all the momentum. They literally screwed around and got into the playoffs somehow. So congrats to Jeter and Mattingly. But the Braves, they've been a juggernaut all season. And this is what we saw. It's only, was it game 2 coming up soon, basically, for the NL
Yeah.
games? Because they all went a little
only
longer.
game 2. Mm-hmm.
But the Braves are going to run away with this. They just have the power, the pitching. There's a significantly better team than the Marlins at all facets of it.
Yeah, you said it.
The Marlins, first of all, and this is not even like really strategy or baseball related at all. The Marlins have to do one thing first and foremost before they will have any success at all against the Braves. If Ronald Acuna Jr. hits a home run, do not hit him and put him on base the next time he is up. They gave away that base runner yesterday, and Acuna scored immediately. They have to get over themselves in that facet. And the Marlins, it's like you want that. You want to root for them. They're a fun, young team. No one thought they were going to be there, but it's impossible to when, again, they throw a hissy fit every time Ronald Acuna Jr. rightfully tags them for a home run.
It's also like, look at who you are. You're the Miami Marlins. You're not supposed to be here. Just enjoy the ride.
Exactly. Just
Exactly.
be grateful.
Like Acuna's been kicking your ass all season. Like, okay, fine. Just don't. You're better off just, if you don't want to give him up a home run, just walk him the first time then.
I will say this about Miami, and I'm very happy that Miami was able to do this. His line's not going to look great, but last night, finally, a national audience got exposed to Sandy Alcantara. I think that he is gifted on the mound. He's an all-star last year in 2019, and he's got some really good stuff. He's going to be very special. And the Braves really, I mean, want to talk about great lineups? The Braves, great lineup. He held them in check up until that 6th inning when things really flew off the rails for them. But Miami hung in there.
That's the thing. They have really. It's just Sixto Sanchez on, whenever he's on or off, basically, and then Alcantara. And that's where their pitching stops. They don't even have a full rotation at times.
Yeah, no. Tonight they're going with Pablo Lopez, who's literally would be a number 5 starter on like 15 teams.
Lopez.
So, yeah, like it sounds like a backyard baseball player.
Yeah. I was about to just say that. Yeah, it does. But good for the Marlins, though. Good for them for being here.
We kind of knew like one of the bad teams would get into the playoffs. It just happened it was them.
Yeah.
I can't believe they beat. Steve Bologna came out and picked the Chicago Cubs to win the pennant. So
that Cubs team is getting blown up this offseason. Like no one's coming back.
No one's staying. No one's staying.
They might trade
I think
Bryant
Schwarber are gone. I think
Rizzo
absolutely gone.
I think Rizzo's gone too.
One of them has to stay.
They're going to keep Baez. That's it.
They're going to keep Baez, and they might keep Contreras.
Just because of control for another 3 years.
Because you're not going to find a shortstop and a catcher better than that
combo. Yeah, no.
Like you have to like you can get rid of a good third baseman, a good first baseman, a corner outfielder, because those things really grow on trees. If we're being honest,
it's okay. They can start the rebuild around Jason Hayward when he's 38 years old.
Nice.
You start the rebuild. You start the rebuild around Ian Happ. That is the guy. That is the future of the franchise.
Yeah, but
that's a rotation. That's a rotation.
But those are the Cubbies though. They're what's Clark?
You're frozen.
Oh, I am.
No.
Oh, okay. What?
Huh.
But the Marlins, they should just be happy to be here and don't throw a pissy party like every time someone tags you for a home run. Because the Braves, they're a significantly better team. Also, I guess Travis d'Arnaud is now just a elite catcher at this point for hitting.
That's so funny, yeah. Travis d'Arnaud. Travis d'Arnaud looks like Johnny Bench when he's in any other uniform but the Mets. It is so funny. I don't even know how it's even possible.
That's every player though that played for the Mets. Once they go elsewhere, they just succeed. Like Justin Turner and Daniel Murphy and
what would sting more? Murphy's run with the Nats or d'Arnaud with the Braves? If d'Arnaud wins the World Series. because he never directly killed you guys.
Murphy was more of a dick, so that kind of stings more.
Well, and Murphy never won squat with the Nats. They were first round exits. To
well,
watch Darnold
remember,
catch a World Series.
But
that's
also
fine, because Darno was always cool with the Mets, though. Like they were never like.
Murphy one series hit like 7 home runs against the Mets in a 3-game series.
That too.
He did more direct damage to the Mets.
Murphy stings more, but this one stings a little, but
Justin
not
Turner.
as much.
He was also an Oriole
Turner,
too.
My God, that one hurts because he's good. He's very good, but he wasn't good with us.
Yeah, but Braves, they're gonna win this series. Maybe 4 games, but I'm calling 3. I'm calling a sweep.
No, absolutely. Yesterday, as soon as Ozuna hit that game-tying single, I think it was the bottom of the 6th or bottom of the 7th, I was ready to just call it. I was like, all right, Miami should just get a safe trip. Yeah, they should have a safe trip back home and not even worry about game 2.
They got some cardio and went home.
It's like the Wizards. Like they went to the bubble just for 6 weeks of cardio.
That feels like forever ago now.
It's so
funny. Baseball.
Like the only knock now for the Marlins is that this hurts their draft stock because they're going to have a playoff level pick, but it doesn't matter.
Their guys all really come from the international pool. It's not and trades. So, and they're there. Like their farm system is
it's built back up now.
It's an embarrassment of riches in their farm system.
Granted, the only trade that's been bad was the Yelich trade, just on what they got in return.
Oh, Brinson is a disaster out there.
All of them are. All 4 of those prospects are just a waste of space. But we're not rehashing old.
Yamamoto is not bad.
He came over in that deal?
Yeah.
Wow.
So one panned out. That's what you hope with big deals like that. So
Monte Harrison.
Okay, I could see it.
Okay.
Well, in the final game of the DS that we're going to talk about on this episode are the Dodgers and the Padres, and great job by the Padres for keeping the Dodgers in check to about the 6th inning, having to go to their bullpen after Clevenger got hurt. And, they were able to hold off the Dodgers for as long as they could before they rallied, honestly. And that's basically how this series is going to go.
May I just say this? It's not funny, but it's like I was talking about this with Anthony Walker, great rep. I was like, they officially pronounced Mike Clevenger they were like, Mike Clevenger's done. They're like, his elbow, it needs to be surgically repaired. He basically doesn't have an arm anymore. They were like, we are shutting down Mike Clevenger. You might not see him until 2025. And then the next day I go on Twitter, we announced our game 1 starter. Yeah, we announced our game 1 starter, Mike Clevenger. I was like, what? This was such a bad idea.
It's like his stuff was clearly not there because his fastball was only coming in at like 91.
Exactly. And it's like it's not like they don't have starters like that they can go. I mean, they went with Trevor Richards right out of the pen, and he was good. He was fine. Why not start him game 2? I mean, what's going to happen next? Lamet, who's also clearly injured, is going to start now. Like what? Like, I mean, Jace Tingler, he's done a good job. His first year as the manager, but this was a little yikesy.
Now I get why they wanted to push them a little bit, but also think long term, because this is a team that, maybe a year or so ahead of their ETA, right? You want to take out the Dodgers and get to, the League Series, the championship series, but at what cost if you're going to lose Lamet and Clevenger to potentially Tommy John for all of next season, because then you're setting back your clock again even more.
The box score is not going to look good for San Diego. Really, 1 run scored. Kind of a disaster, but they really made Walker Buehler work. Walker Buehler was at 100, circling getting close to 100 pitches in the 4th, 5th inning. They did not put together a lot of hits, but they really, really put the pressure on Walker Buehler. I don't think this series is as much of a cakewalk for the Dodgers as we thought it would be. They finally broke out. Their offense strung some bloop singles together, but number one, the ball is not carrying in that ballpark in Arlington. What is it? Globe Life Field.
Can we just talk about
also disaster of a ballpark.
The lighting looks like shit. It looks terrible.
Dim. It was dark. I thought something was wrong with my television.
Me too. I had to flip between Fox Sports and friggin' TBS. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, is something wrong? Is my TV going out?
I could not see, and it also doesn't help that the Padres were wearing their like brown uniforms, so
the
it just
UPS
made everything-
uniforms.
It was
They're
just
ugly.
dark.
I like the
They
brown and
are.
yellow. Not
They're
the
so
pinch,
hyped.
not the pinstriped ones. Not the pinstriped ones.
Yeah, the pinstripe ones on the road too.
Are-
They were the
are
road
ugly.
team,
Those
they were
aren't fun.
Pinstripes. What are you doing? So that ball is not carrying. I mean, like I saw some balls last night that literally, like, you would think they were playing in the Polo Grounds,
In dead center
like,
field,
off the barrel, dead center field, and nothing.
fly out.
Absolutely nothing. Grisham right there. So I mean, that's gonna hurt both teams. But I think the Padres have a better contact ability than the Dodgers do. And if you're gonna win in this series, you're gonna have to put the ball in play.
The Padres are also a
Also-
faster team too.
Much faster. They have speed up and down. And also, playoff Kershaw still exists.
It does.
Playoff Kershaw it's still a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't count the Padres out just yet after game one. We'll see what happens tonight. I believe maybe 5 this goes to.
It's
Maybe.
definitely going 4. I think the Padres get a game. I think they win tonight.
Okay, I could see it.
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers win in 5, but I think they're gonna really make nails be bitten.
Yeah. No matter what, I picked the Dodgers, but a 4 or 5 too. I'm in the same boat as you guys with that.
And the way I see it, if the Padres somehow win this series, Braves are going to the World Series. If the okay, if the Padres win, Braves are going to the World Series. If the Dodgers win, it's a crapshoot then in the NLCS.
Let me ask you a question. If the Padres played the Braves in a National League Championship series, the runs that would be put up.
Oh my God, it would be ridiculous.
Those would be good games. Those would be really good games.
Be fun.
I put the Braves exactly as you. Like if you were to power rank them, it would be Dodgers, Braves, Padres, and then the
Marlins.
Marlins, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It's so funny that the Marlins are still there. Like
I
it is
know.
horrible.
They still haven't lost a playoff series in their entire franchise history.
This is ridiculous.
Because both
You're
World Series runs were their only postseason runs.
Every time they make the playoffs, they win the World Series.
You never know. You never know.
Well, that was fun talking about baseball. Any last thoughts about anything, hot takes, predictions, anything you want to get off on your chest before we wrap up, either of you two?
Tonight I will be having my gavel. I will be wearing my robe. I will have my wig set in place, and I will be rising from a first inning 2-run home run off Charlie Morton for Aaron Judge to set the tone. And then he's going to hit another home run later in the game, and the New York City will all rise at once.
Not
for the Judge.
Justin, do you have an extra foam finger for me?
I have a hat if you want it.
Maybe I'll take that because.
Okay, so the reason why I have that crap is whenever, like my father and I, it's a tradition. When we go to a new ballpark, we buy a hat from it, and they had a deal where if you got a hat, you got a foam finger for free. So that's how I have both.
Cares.
No. I used to do the same thing with stuff like that. I used to get the hats too. I used to do the hats too.
I have a Yankee and Met hat from the 09 seasons because
those are collecting dust right now.
Well, the Yankee hat has the inaugural season logo on it, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, that could be worth $1 or $2.
Justin, what happened? What happened that year when they? Obviously, the Yankees.
Did you build a new stadium this year? I don't think so. So you can't put that on that one.
Petco Park will be known as the house that Stanton built.
Oh
wow. Well, if they make it past this series, maybe we'll see.
Clark, let's end this thing. Wrap it up.
I'm ready to wrap this up. So thank you guys for listening to this baseball edition of the Department Podcast. We do appreciate you guys listening to us. Never miss an episode. So subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on our socials on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Department_pod. Like Justin said earlier in the show, we have a finals one coming up soon, a finals recap. We have a wrestling recap filming Saturday, uploading on Sunday. We're recording back to our regular schedule.
Starting this week.
Our football week 5 recap will be filmed on Sunday and uploaded on Monday. So stay tuned for all that fun stuff, and we'll see you in the next episode.